Today, the tailor, the carpenter, the hairdresser, the vulcanizers, and other treatment can comfortably distribute the burden of inflation to their customers. But the employee, both private and public, is still stuck on his one lane income. Who are you distributing the burden of inflation to? If you do not have answer to this question, you are the one I am here to address in this session. I wonder why a lot of us have chosen to play safe. There's no safety anywhere. So because you have your hands on a paid employment, does that suggest that the whole of your creative life is slaughtered on the altar of that employment? I wonder why we find comfort working for other people and are not bothered to find out what can be done differently. I don't want to be taken out of context, but what I am actually trying to pass across is the fact that there is nothing stopping a paid employee from seeking other avenues of earnings. Why do we derive the comfort to leave our finger sticky on employment? Is it because of security? Of course, so many articles, so many theories, so many reviews, so many views have gone against the ideals of job security. I am surprised that even at that, some of us are hell-bent on this penny-wise, pound-foolish arrangement. We want to end it there. Why do we drive so much comfort, carrying out the same perceived demeaning functions for organizations, but refusing to pull the same string to support a lasting future? Don't tell me otherwise. It is all about clothing. It is all about nomenclature, probably organizational nomenclature. If you know the kind of job functions that are carried out by most of these people who sneak into factories and companies on daily basis, if you know what they actually do, what they actually carry out as their job function, you'll be so amazed. These are the same functions they are unwilling to carry out in the public space for fear of being embarrassed. They look at these job functions as being demeaning. The same functions, they are willing to carry them out for companies, organizations, and factories. Why? Because there's a nomenclature around these organizations. Who have you chosen to serve? Who have you chosen to leverage? Do you know that there is no entrepreneur, there is no proprietor that will willingly empower any employee? Because they know that the moment an employee is powered financially, the next line of thought will be to draw a sense of independence and probably break away to start up a business or some other organization. This fact will not allow them to willingly empower any employee to financial stability. So if you're there waiting that a time will come that things will offer themselves right for you to stabilize financially, I am thinking that you're joking. You should think again. This is so serious so that even those without employment would prefer to go begging corporately instead of looking for a skill to learn and start making a living from there. I was in Port Harcourt one of those times, unofficial assignment. One morning I went out, I stepped out to do breakfast, and I was accosted by a cute young man, very fluent and handsome, well dressed. He took me through an episode of his life, telling me all that he's been through and why he accosted me that morning. He told me he was very hungry. He needed some food to eat. I asked to be certain if it was food he actually needed that morning. He said yes. So at that point, I walked him back to where I had breakfast that morning and requested that the lady serve him whatever meal he requested for, and I will pick the bills. To my greatest surprise, this same young man who lamented severe hunger to me a while earlier opted only for a bottle of mineral. I insisted he should have something tangible to eat. He refused. This shows that he was a corporate beggar. Why will you choose to operate on corporate clothes as a beggar instead of seeking to affix your hands on one of this trade, paying trade? Who have you chosen to serve? Who are you living for? Who is it for? Why are you engaged in whatever economic activity you're engaged in? Who is it for? Have you taken a thought about who you are working for? Why have you chosen to labor for another? I have always known, I have always told those who want to hear that the purpose for why jobs exist, the purpose for why we have employment, is for the employee to learn skills that will allow him or her stand at the point, at the time of eventuality. You're there to train. Your employment is like a training ground that should give you the experience that is required for you to establish yourself in whatever given economic activity you're participating as an employee in. Until you see every form of employment as a training ground, you're going to enslave yourself and you're going to live within those the little income that comes your way daily. And that is not going to make you any better. I have told you earlier, no entrepreneur, no proprietor will willingly establish you financially, because you are making a fortune for them. You're making them money. So by the time you are overpaid, if there's anything like that, and you're able to move on with your life, you will excuse their organizations, you'll excuse their systems, you'll excuse whatever it is they do. And so that will not tell well, that will not augur well, that will not go well with their systems. And that's why they are very careful not to empower their employees so much. They give you as much as can run your bills. Sometimes what you take home cannot even run the bills you have. So who have you chosen to live for? Who are you laboring for? Who are you empowering? Who are you enriching? You or the owner of the business you run? Those in public civil service, public employment are not faring any better. If you stay in a public employment and you think you're going to be there and you're going to have so much that will help you leverage over your needs, your liabilities, or all of your expenses, you'll be joking, unless you have hands on one fraudulent activity or the other. Of course, it is important I let you know that apart from the basic skills you have, You are expected to have marketing skills. You are expected to have selling skills. You should be able to sell whatever product you are into. That is how to scale any venture. That is how to scale any startup. That's how to scale any business. Those days, the tailor and the carpenter were very unkempt, sweaty, haggard. In fact, the tailor were fondly called Obioma because they were nomads. They went from place to place around the neighborhood, seeking torn clothes to stitch. And as if they were trying to advertise or sell their handiwork, the clothes they had on were severely patched. Probably because they were stitchers of clothes, they had to stitch the ones they had on them colorfully, and sometimes it could be very awful. The carpenters went about with very bushy hair, pencils in their hair, cigarette sticks in the same hair, nails in the hair, very demeaning, so that they practically scared people away from this profession, because of course everybody want a good life. Everybody do not want a life of penury. Everybody want to live a life of prosperity. Everybody want to flourish. And so those who spotted these people in this state didn't want to have anything to do with these skills and professions. Fast forwarded to today, the carpenter and the tailor have been so packaged so that they are selling these skills internationally today. So you see, my friend, it's all about how you package whatever it is you're doing. You don't dress your products on racks and expect people to patronize you. So go all out, package whatever it is you do, and there is going to be a serious market for it. You have to learn how to sell, just like I've said, and learn how to market. Also be sure you have packaged whatever it is you're putting out to the public in such a way that the public won't be able to resist what you're presenting to them. Until I come your way again, thank you so much and have a lovely day.